when people start training in Aikido, like obviously everybody wants to learn everything straight away, which is understandable. But at every level of training, there's different lessons. And when you come to a class, it's like you might not know something, but your kind of job as a student is to work out what the basics are and what the teacher's talking about. And even though you don't know how to do it, every time you come to class, you attempt to understand it. And you try and move towards understanding that. And the teacher says words and they're all just like blah, 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 blah at first. But over time, those things that you've heard a million times, one day you'll do something and it'll gel and you'll have that moment of realization where it all makes sense. And that's a beautiful thing about the martial arts. And but at every level, there's that thing. When you're starting at first, you're trying to work out where to put your feet. And then you're trying to coordinate your hands and your feet, and then you're trying to, measure distance and timing, and then after that you're trying to deal with a resisting opponent. They're all kind of levels. And then when you can fight, it's like, do you just go in there and throw punches back when they throw punches? Then you build up a defense, then you build up a counter-attack, and then you can look at stuff like drawing an attack, ki, things like that. But the thing about training in Aikido, basic Aikido techniques are really advanced in terms of martial arts. But people start and they're doing techniques that are kind of expert level techniques. Like I put my energy out there, it comes back, I move around it. That's not something that someone can do in their first few years of martial arts. At a basic level, if you throw, you're going to latch in, try and throw them. Maybe they try and throw you and you counter throw them. That's the best. Or you throw a strike, they throw a strike back, you throw another strike. Or maybe you block it. That's your first few years of martial arts. Like sending your energy out, moving around it, letting it go through. And these are kind of advanced concepts. But as long as you're kind of focused on that, then it'll come to you in the end. And so you kind of have a long view of martial arts. And Aikido was something that was taught to experts in the old days. So nobody teaches most Aikido people in the beginning what the basics of martial arts are. And I was talking about this with Duncan, that to me, for any martial artist, you've got the techniques and then you've got martial arts. So in terms of Aikido, you can do Aikido for, as a practice for health, for fitness, for meditation, for martial arts. But the techniques are down here. Like in my case, I practice at a base level the techniques of Saito Sensei generally, but to implement those, that's my systematization of that, is pure Aikido. It's not like I've systematized that so I can make it work. That sits above the actual techniques. The techniques are almost irrelevant. They're the library that I draw on. So all the martial arts experiences you had, you go back to your kata, and that's what you draw from, intellectually as a martial artist. It's not like I have these techniques and they're a certain way and I have to do it like that. They're the way they are because they work. They're not the way they are because someone said so. And, hopefully it's the quintessence of what that movement is. And the other thing we were talking about was terminology. Like someone might say drawing and someone might say leading. You pretty much better key into what language your teacher's using. Hopefully it's, basic and makes sense in terms of what the action is. But even if it doesn't, even if it's, the monkey grabs the plums and, whatever, it's like you work out what that is and cue into it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it is. And, when I was talking about, that each level has its thing, we were talking last night, I was saying, well, my current level is I'm doing old now. Like, what does the old martial artist do? When things are broken and, it's like, it's a whole different thing. And while I'm not a sensei, I wouldn't say I'm getting better. The benefit is patience. And also, in Aikido, as a young man, and an older younger man, whatever, you're strong, you're aggressive, you want to do it hard. You want to express power. But, and often that's making you use more energy than you should. And as you get older, you do have the patience to just wait for the right moment. And that was a skill in terms of a modern master that Hickson Gracie was the best at. He had this saying, I think I said this last year, sooner or later he's going to give me something. And that's like he'd be in some horrible position, but he'd just wait, protect himself, and wait until his opportunity came. And it's the same with Aikido. You can just, like, you can try and force it, or you can wait for the right opportunity and then leave it. It takes time to train that into yourself, to develop that instinct of, like, everybody's going to try and force it, but when you force it and it doesn't work, to relax and then move around it.